drills in, right field, down the line.
2024 has been quite the year for Jackson Holliday. The Orioles' #1 pick showed promise in spring training and the minors to start the season, but his call-up in April to the main roster was lackluster, to say the least. The dominance the 20-year-old had showcased up to this point in his career seemed to vanish. From poor performances at the plate to blunders in the field, Jackson Holliday just seemed lost under the bright lights.
Down here as Tyler drives one high into shallow right field. Out goes Holliday. Difficult chance for him, and he's not going to get there.
Now as Jackson embarks on his second journey in the majors, he's flipped a switch. He's crushing the ball, his swagger is back, and he is oozing confidence. Did he go back to the basics in the AAA? Has he achieved a Zen-like state through meditation? Nope. You're never going to guess how Jackson Holliday turned his season around. So join me as we dive into the rise, the demise, and the rise again of Jackson Holliday. Before I get into Jackson Holliday's current time in the majors, let me take you back to how he even got into the bigs. In 2022, fresh out of high school, Jackson Holliday was picked first in the draft by the Baltimore Orioles and signed a massive $8.19 million signing bonus. So, expectations were already high for the kid. He got right to work that August in the minors and was already showing promise. He hit .297 with 9 RBIs and showed off his wheels with 4 stolen bases in 20 games. 2023 was Jackson's busiest year. He played 125 games that included stints in the Single-A, High-A, Double-A, and Triple-A. He hit over 300 for every team other than Norfolk, but he was still at a solid .267. Overall, Jackson ended the 2023 season hitting .323 with 12 homers and 75 RBIs, but a less than desirable 118 strikeouts. These strikeouts would be something that came back to haunt Jackson later on. Anyway, Jackson's performance that year was enough for Holliday to be named Baseball America Minor League Player of the Year. And it was here the rumbling of Jackson Holliday being ready for the majors began. Riding the momentum he had created for himself into 2024, the Orioles offered Jackson an invitation to spring training, and the kid just kept delivering. From grand slams,
And Jackson flies a ball to right field. Springer twisting back, looking up. That ball is gone. Grand slam.
to getting 3 hits in one game. Holliday was calm, cool, and confident. He hit .311 in 45 at-bats, and it almost seemed like a lock that he would be joining the Orioles for opening day, with some fans thinking he already had a shot at Rookie of the Year. However, some fans pointed out that maybe it was still too early for the 20-year-old to be in the bigs. As one fan stated, he looked good, but not out of place good. I hope we don't rush him. And rush him, the Orioles did not. Baltimore's GM Mike Elias announced Jackson would not be joining the main roster for opening day and would instead be sent back to Norfolk for more time in the AAA. Now, there were a lot of theories floating around about service time manipulation. Basically, the powers that be keep younger players in the minors and call them up at a later date so they can keep them under contract for an extra year. Heck, even Jackson's dad, Matt Holliday, got into the mix with a bit of a cryptic message. But let's take that with a grain of salt and give some credit to Mike Elias. According to him, Jackson is only 20 and could use more at-bats against lefties and get a few less strikeouts, which is a completely reasonable and downright logical explanation. I'm sure it's not what Jackson was hoping for, but he would start the 2024 season in the minors in Norfolk. And he was back with a point to prove because in his very first at-bat in the AAA, he hit an absolute nuke.
With their draft choices under the guise of Elias. Swing and a high fly ball. Drilled long and deep, heading beyond the bullpen and right field and Holliday.
Jackson wasn't slowing down a single bit with the Tides, and after 10 games, the O's higher-ups were taking notice of his .333 average. And then it happened. A little over 2 weeks into the 2024 season, Jackson Holliday got the call up to wear the O's uniform as an official big leaguer.
Now, it's time for him to ask permission to be on Jackson Holliday's pass list. You're going to the big leagues. Awesome.
On April 10th, Jackson would make his debut against the Red Sox. All the questions that were surrounding Jackson Holliday would finally be answered. Was he too young? Did he need more work? Was he really not ready? The answers turned out to be yes, yes, and yes. Despite solid performances throughout his entire career, Holliday looked lost. His eye at the plate was gone as he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He let a ball drop while he was at second. And while he did get his first RBI in the majors, the hype surrounding Holliday felt just like that, hype. People didn't want to think he was a bust right off the bat. We had to give him time, right? Well, even after 9 more games and 30 more plate appearances, Holliday wasn't looking any better. He went 2 for 34 in April, hitting an atrocious .059. He had some moments at second that made it seem like he at least knew what he was doing, but at the plate was a different story. Although Jackson spent most of his career hitting 300 and above up to this point, those strikeouts that Mike Elias had mentioned were now front and center. If feeling embarrassed wasn't bad enough, even Orioles legend Cal Ripken Jr. weighed in on Jackson's performance. Ripken, who spent 21 iconic years with the O's and is now a part owner, suggested that Holliday might have moved up the ranks a bit too quickly. He said he moved so fast through the system and maybe a little too fast. Maybe he needed to learn more in AAA. Even loyal Jackson Holliday fans were beginning to wonder if he was a complete bust. Needless to say, it wasn't a surprise to anyone when after just 10 games, the Orioles optioned Jackson back to Norfolk at the end of April. Now was the true test of Jackson's mental fortitude. It would be easy for a 20-year-old to see his dreams as being shattered after dropping the ball in front of the world. His time back in AAA didn't start off smoothly. Holliday struggled to find his rhythm and regain his confidence. It's totally understandable. I mean, going from the minors to the majors and back again can be a jarring experience. But at some point, Holliday found his confidence again in Norfolk. How did he do it? Did he find a new training regimen? Nope. Did he change his diet? Nope. He started playing Golden Tee, the arcade golf game Golden Tee. Now, is there some kind of secret level to Golden Tee that not only restores your confidence, but makes you a better baseball player that none of us know about? Not exactly. Jackson said it helped him relax and focus, even going as far as saying, "Honestly, once I started playing that in Norfolk, I started hitting good again." And hit good again he did. His fielding was still on point, and after that slow start, he ended up hitting .259 during his second stint in Norfolk with 8 homers and 29 RBIs. He did spend some time on the IL with elbow inflammation, but he returned after the All-Star break in style on the first pitch he saw.
His last outing on Sunday, swings first pitch, drives one to deep right center field. Roller back of the wall, gives it a look, that's all he'll do. That one is gone.
This set the tone for his return to the main roster just a few days later. With all the hype surrounding Holliday before the 2024 season and the hype surrounding his first call-up, you'd think the baseball world would have been buzzing about his second call-up. But it was all done pretty quietly. Jackson was actually scheduled to be in the Norfolk Tides lineup on Tuesday, July 30th. Instead, his name was scratched from the lineup and reports leaked that he was heading to Baltimore. Even on the morning of the 31st, when Holliday would ultimately join the O's lineup again, people were still in the dark. Was Jackson joining the O's soon? What other discussions were going on? It wasn't until that afternoon that the cat was out of the bag and Jackson Holliday was going to be given another shot in the majors. The tension was definitely high for fans and probably Orioles management alike. And not just because they want to win baseball games, but because you don't want to see a 20-year-old kid's spirit crushed again. But this time around, Jackson looked more confident, more comfortable, and more locked in than in April. Heck, maybe Golden Tee really did something for Jackson. I mean, his first game back, with everyone thinking about his 2 for 34 performance, Jackson locked in and hit a grand slam.
Holliday drills in. Right field, down the line, grand slam!
And guys, this wasn't a liner that squeaked out of the park. This was a 439-foot blast that went onto Utah Street. Since returning to the O's lineup, Jackson is hitting .389 with 7 hits, 2 homers, and 7 RBIs. And I know it's a small sample size of just 5 games at the moment, but come on, that's a far cry from 2 for 34. With Jackson's bat coming along and his fielding being consistently solid and having Gunnar Henderson at short, the Orioles may have the best young middle infield in the league. I mean, with Gunnar already having established himself as a dangerous player in his short career and Jackson settling into his own, man, those two are going to wreak havoc for the O's. So, is Jackson Holliday ready now? You tell me. It seems so, but only time will tell. What I do know for certain is that watching Jackson Holliday rise, crash, and rise again is awesome and inspiring. You know who else has been an inspiring player to watch this year? Wyatt Langford. The dude has been an absolute machine for the Rangers. If you want to see how a 22-year-old is dominating MLB, then click this video right here. But before you do, give this video a like and support the channel by subscribing to Baseball Buzz.